Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the hopeful elect of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indian, and Haitians. Gotta give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. The Most High, the Heavenly Father, His Hebrew name is Yahweh. Not Yahweh, not Jehovah, not God, not Elohim, not Most High, not Lord, not Yah, not Jah, not Ahaya, not Allah. It's Yahweh. His only begotten Son name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shai. Not Yahshua, not Yeshua, not Jesus Christos, not Jesus Christ, not Serapis Christus, not Yeshaya, not Yehoshua. It's Yahweh Shai. So we got to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rikak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, who teach well. And a sincere salutation to all the ark and pushing this truth and believing this truth throughout the four winds of the earth, the entire world, waking up the hopeful elect. And shalom to the Arwathium who are listening and learning, the few sisters who are listening and learning. I'm Isaiah from the GMS Orlando camp coming at you another lesson in truth, facts, faith, and edification, another daily edification. Lord's willing, this be edifying. And like I said, again, got to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders over all of Israel. This is another video, Lord willing, to be edifying, just going into how Babylon the Great, North America, and the infrastructure, the economy is collapsing, it's deteriorating, it's crumbling. I do not own the copyright to these videos. This is for educational purposes only. I do not own the copyright to these videos. This is for educational purposes only. Lord's willing, this be edifying.
Wow, what a day. The country is facing financial abyss. The pandemic has crippled tourism, retail, and the travel sector. The damage could last years, and layoffs, service cuts, and added debt are all on the table. I guess America can thrive off of massive job losses, record bankruptcies, record loan defaults, and a dead economy in free fall. Historic GDP drop and an economic free fall, and the stock market tiers are higher. Wow. Just amazing, and the stock market boom continues. 100% bullish for the multi-billionaires and trillion-dollar companies. Stocks only go up. Wow. As the layoff moratorium ends, the stimulus talks stalling again, and the second wave of the downturn, depression, has begun. Big companies are laying off thousands of workers. A massive layoff wave continues and is turning into a devastating tsunami. Temporary layoffs becoming permanent job losses. Another flurry of bankruptcies and permanent closures is expected as cold weather arrives. Shell and Continental announcing thousands of layoffs, and Goldman Sachs Group, Allstate, and Marathon Petroleum each announcing layoffs on Wednesday, just a day after Walt Disney said it would lay off 28,000 employees across its parks. Marathon Petroleum to lay off more than 2,000 employees. Shell plans to cut 9,000 jobs. KPMG will be eliminating 1,400 jobs. Goldman cuts 400 jobs. They don't need that many employees to count the stock buybacks. The retail store closings in the U.S. reaching a record in the first half of 2020, and the year is on pace for record bankruptcies and liquidations, the Wall Street Journal reports. Bankruptcies in the New York City region have surged 40% during the pandemic, according to Bloomberg. New York City will face an extended financial crisis, the likes of which have not been seen since the 1970s. Las Vegas too is losing 250,000 jobs in just 2 months, CNBC reports. The airlines too are starting massive layoffs. American Airlines and United Airlines plan to furlough a combined 50,000 workers starting today. If Congress bails these companies out again, there need to be some strings attached. Take the average wage of all airline employees, from bag handlers to pilots. That should be the CEOs and all upper management compensation until the loan is paid back. No $12 million salary for Doug Parker. Also, no stock buybacks using borrowed money. The bailout is more than $1 million per job. You know this is not about saving jobs, but saving executive bonuses and bondholder returns. Airlines are now seeking a bigger bailout than previously thought. American Airlines CEO Doug Parker said that if Washington comes up with a deal with $25 billion for airlines over the next few days, the company will reverse 19,000 furloughs set to begin Thursday and recall the workers. $25 billion. For 19,000 workers that are approximately 1.3 million per worker. I would rather give each worker $100,000. The employees would be better off with direct payments from the government, bypassing bailouts for the airlines completely. Let's face it, 95% of profits over 10 years from the airlines went to buybacks. We shouldn't give them a dime. The executive suite should be fired first, right off the roof. There is good debt, and then there is bad debt. This is the epitome of bad. The airlines and other companies have been raising money any way they can just to burn it. The Fed and government have enabled and even encouraged this behavior. I have little doubt the airlines are going to get their bailout. Doug Parker, American Airlines CEO, made $11.5 million in stock gifts in 2019 and about the same in the previous years. If they would just begin taxing this as regular income and close up the tax loopholes for the rich, it would stop a lot of this buffoonery. When Warren Buffett said that there's nothing wrong with stock buybacks when used properly, he was being disingenuous. The fact of the matter, stock buybacks are typically used just to inflate stock prices, thereby increasing the executive and board members' compensation, which is taxed at a lesser rate. There are companies that borrow money to buy back their stock. What idiocy is that? It enriches them while eventually destroying the company. Buybacks are simply burning cash. This cash could be better used for R&D, acquisitions, even marketing. It's time to allow these Goliaths to sink or swim with no bailouts, and it's time for there to be consequences and measures put into place to punish their irresponsibility. That money is needed in other places, and why should we save companies that nickel and dime us for everything as consumers, but their CEOs get golden parachutes? It's time we turn our torches and pitchforks on the failing airline industry. Welcome back to the Atlantis Report. You are here for your daily dose of the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Please take a second to click the like button. And as you know, friends, I rely on your donations to keep this channel functional. As you know, it takes a crazy amount of research and time to bring you this content on a daily basis, so I hope you consider helping with whatever donation you can afford. Thank you. The U.S. economy shrank at a historic rate during the second quarter of 2020, with gross domestic product falling 31.4% from April to June, according to data released by the Commerce Department on Wednesday. The drop is little changed from the second estimate released a month ago and is far worse than the previous record of a 10% drop in the first quarter of 1958. We just lived through a period where the U.S. economy shrank by 30% in 5 months. That would have been laughably absurd science fiction in every year of my life before this one. Another 837,000 more Americans filed for unemployment benefits for the first time last week. Airlines are hours away from cutting more than 32,000 jobs if they don't get billions more in federal aid. It is a black hole. They're gonna cut those jobs anyway, like right after they get their money. Yes, the economy is great. No problems at all. Wait. More stimulus on the way. Commercial plane production used to be one of the few export bright spots in industrial goods. Overall exports in August fell 13.3% year over year. The only single-digit decliner was exports of food, feeds, and beverages minus 3.3%, $11 billion. Exports of all other major categories fell by the double digits, industrial goods minus 11% or $39 billion. Partially caused by the Boeing B737 MAX fiasco and travel bans. Even though more than 60 million American workers filed new claims for unemployment benefits in 2020, we're still seeing 800,000 new layoffs every single week. More like 1.5 million if you factor in PUA claims as well. 25 million people are still collecting unemployment benefits, with many job losses becoming permanent. To give some context, the Great Recession peak for unemployment claims was 665,000 in March 2009, and the all-time mark of 695,000 occurred in October 1982. More waves of unemployment are still on the way. We are in the midst of a catastrophe. Corporate executives axe thousands of employees with families, shed crocodile tears, stock price increases, they cash out on stock options to become richer. In addition, they use debt for company buybacks and dividends instead of capital investment, and investing in employees, endangering the health of the company. Besides banksters, is there anyone more evil than these corporate monsters? These layoffs have been planned for months. You do not suddenly lay off that many people without a continuation plan in place. I expect to see a lot of these prior to Christmas. It's the natural result of shutting down or restricting 80% of your businesses. Many of these cities, such as New York City, Portland, Seattle, are never going to recover. Look at Detroit's 1967 riots and how they never recovered as your model. The damage is done to the population. Even if everything is lifted, most large companies will not, which unfortunately make up a large segment of commerce, big boxes, restaurants, etc. I don't like it either. But the psyche of the population will take years to work its way out. People aren't scrambling to keep a roof over their head. They don't even have to pay rent or their mortgage anymore. They were getting free money and basically sucking off the government teat. It's despicable. They can't even hire workers around here because they are sitting home, getting high, and getting paid for it. Over the past 6 months, 60 million Americans signed up for unemployment. The US government hurled money at them for not working. What a great idea, why didn't I think of that? It's probably worth pondering what happens when the government runs out of trees to print more paper or stumbles into a shortage of ink. Many, perhaps even most, of those in the ranks of the newly unemployed will never get their prior job back. The depression is hurting both those making minimum wage flipping hamburgers and tens of thousands of highly paid airline staff now without a future. The riots will not just continue, they will get a whole lot worse. Retail bankruptcies, store closures hit record in the first half. This is almost certainly the worst year in recent history for retail. The big question is what exact items people spent all the money on. The home office staff, computers, and video games are clear winners. But what exactly else is the big question? Besides their new home office stuff, mainly chairs and desks, which they will have to keep if work from home becomes permanent. Otherwise, they might toss a lot of this stuff away. Gun stores have had a hell of a run. Ammo especially. Defense loads is in short supply. There exists an incredible shortage of ammunition, certainly in the common calibers. It cannot be had anywhere. Checking the sites for major ammo and component sales outlets and producers, everything is back-ordered several weeks to 2 months, even though they are running 24/7. Where in the world is everything going? Buying guns could explain a lot, but only if they are taking on a truckload of ammo at the same time, ammo, which doesn't exist. Something is definitely afoot. Disney is laying off 30,000 workers, and soon airlines will shed 40,000 jobs as well. Just wait until fall-winter rolls around, and cases explode again, leading to the reimposition of restrictions at the very least, if not outright shutdowns. Many businesses are struggling as us. Businesses that had planned to close only temporarily have now decided to close permanently. But things are about to get worse. The US second quarter GDP down 31.4%. Interest rates need to be at zero just to keep this fake economy going. 800,000 plus job losses the past several weeks. We have the worst handling of this pandemic in the entire world. It's great times here in the USA. The recession depression is just starting. The fact that the Fed pledged to keep rates low for years tells you they are very worried, and they should.
You see that? You see that? They are very worried, man. Who? I'm going to read it in Ecclesiastes 12, man. Talking about the keepers of the house. They are very worried, man.
Let's be honest. The supposed success of our economy is based on 2 things, technology and money printing. Without either of those, the economy is in tatters.
Hold on, man. I got to run that back. Salakia.
The recession depression is just starting. The fact that the Fed pledged to keep rates low for years tells you they are very worried, and they should be. Let's be honest. The supposed success of our economy is based on 2 things, technology and money printing. Without either of those, the economy is in tatters. Crony capitalism and shipping productive jobs overseas are not the path to a stronger and more prosperous US. Outside of the tech bubble, the economy is a wasteland, where we consume far more than we produce. Time for some very large changes, but neither the Democrats' big bureaucracy or Republicans' laissez-faire capitalism are the answer. There is another answer, which is true capitalism, where the government prevents monopolistic behavior and creates a coordinated tax and trade policy that rewards enterprise, but breaks up monopolistic enterprises, consolidation of corporate power, and reduces offshore production. Assets markets crashing. Too much uncertainty. CV-19 flaring. Economy horrible. Election wars. Supreme Court battle. Dangerous time in world history. Do not do what I did. I bought gold and silver yesterday. Hold cash. Be smarter. Be patient. Worst is yet to come.
Hey, and the Lord say be patient, man. Okay? The Lord say be patient, man. When you read in James 1, it tell you that let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be entirely wanting nothing, man. Okay? Because we trust in Yahweh Shema Shai, man. And when SHT hit the fan, when it hit the fan, man, when SHIT hit the fan, you ones that haven't seek the Lord while he may be found, you're gonna be destroyed, man. You're gonna die grievous deaths, and you're gonna die famines and pestilence. This is Isaiah 42:9. Behold, the former things are come to pass, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. This is Habakkuk chapter 1, verse 5. The Lord said, new things do I declare, man. The world had stopped. The COVID-19 had stopped the world for a month or two, man. When nothing moving. That was a new thing, man. Okay? Habakkuk 1 and 5. Behold ye among the heathen. And regard. It said, behold ye among the heathen. He's talking to you Hebrew Israelites. You so-called Negro, Latinos, Native Americans, West and Haitians. You 12 tribes of Israel. The Lord is talking to you. Behold ye among the heathen and regard and wonder marvelously. Now when you go to the blue letter, the word wonder and marvelously, they both mean the same thing, man. Okay? For I will work a work in your days, which you would not believe, though it be told to you, man. It was told to you. The Lord gave us our apostles and elders, okay, and they elders. And Abba Bivens, man. Since Abba Bivens, this message has been going out, man, to prepare for the day of the Lord, man. Okay? Jacob's trouble, race riots, all these things is finna come, man. Martial law, concentration camps, the RFID microchip. It's gonna be sedition among men, man. You're gonna lose your jobs. And to tell you that in Jeremiah, in Isaiah, in Slack, in Isaiah 32, it tell you women to rise up, you women that are at ease, man. Okay? For your vintage shall fail and your gathering shall not come. That's how I work, man. Jobs. So let's play this.
So let's get right into it today. This economy has flown off the tracks. We are witnessing a nightmare at this point. It's amazing to see that the markets were all up across the board today. Dow Jones up 35 points. When we got continuous bad news, we got some really ominous news today, and it's never ending. It just continues every day. But the stock market doesn't care. It could care less about the real economy. It could care less about you. It could care less about jobs. All it cares about is the Federal Reserve and how many more billions of dollars the Federal Reserve is going to inject into these markets to keep them on life support. Jobless claims came in this morning at 837,000. So that means 837,000 people last week filed first-time unemployment claims. We now are heading 8 months into this, where we have lost 800,000 plus jobs a week, going on 8 months. And yet we're being told that this is a V-shaped recovery. We're being told not to worry. We're being told that everything's going to be okay. We're being told that everything's going back to normal. Are you kidding me? Anybody that believes this believes in Santa Claus. Disney to lay off 28,000 employees. This hits home because Disneyland's about an hour and a half from my house. I used to live in Fullerton, very close to Anaheim, where Disneyland is located. And I remember driving down the 91 in the morning, watching all those people coming in from Riverside and Corona, coming in to work in Orange County. And thousands of those cars were people coming to Disneyland for employment. Well, now 28,000 people at Disneyland aren't going to have a job. Disney has been hemorrhaging money. The company reported a loss of $1 billion in operating income due to closures. Both California Adventure and Disneyland remain shuttered. So all those people that were driving to work from Riverside and Corona, people that live in Orange County, that are employed by Disneyland, what are they going to do? How do they pay their house payments? How do they pay their rent? How do they pay their auto bills?
This is Ecclesiastes 12:1. Remember now the Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. While the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. Talking about the World War III, man. Okay? These intercontinental ballistic missiles. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, which the other video said when the guy said they are worried, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease. The grinder meaning the work shall cease, because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened, and the doors shall be shut in the streets, which is work, when the sound of the grinding is low. And what Jake always saying, I'm on my grind. When the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. And we got a bunch of garbage music right now. That's why I say the daughters of music shall be brought low. Hey, and everybody is raising up at the voice of the bird, man, because they have no answers. They don't know what's going on. They don't know where their next meal coming from. Okay? Everybody's up early, man, trying to figure out what to do. But guess what? The hopefully elect is in sound sleep, man. It's doing good, man. Why? Because we trust in Yahweh Bashim Awashai, man. But the sound on the grinding is low, man. The jobs are gone, man. They leaving. And it's only going to get worse, man. How the number one companies on the planet Earth, Disney World, Disneyland, one of the oldest companies, is getting rid of over 28,000 people, man. And that's the one in Florida and the one in California, man.
What are these people going to do? And yet we're being told about the big housing boom and whatnot. Well, 28,000 people now.
And Trump been saying that about the economy is booming. It ain't booming, man. They lying to you, man. These devils. Tell you that Job 13:4, they are forgers of lies, man. Okay? They are physicians of no value, man. They lying to you, man.
Won't be buying a house. They're going to be lucky not to lose their house. And then right after this, right here on CNBC, American and United move ahead with more than 32,000 furloughs. The furlough begins today. As I'm making this video, they are getting rid of employees. 32,000. So 32,000 there, 28,000 at Disneyland. That's 60,000 people today who got some very, very bad news, who have been laid off. 60,000 people between three companies. But the news gets worse. Shell Oil plans to cut 9,000 jobs in transition plan. So there's another 9,000 right there. So it's getting harder and harder to hide reality. Hollywood Reporter, LA top shopping streets struggle amid collapse. We have vacancies throughout our city. So LA has been hit really hard because of the drop in tourism. Beverly Hills, West Hollywood, they are being flooded with for sale and for lease signs and vacant buildings. And I can relate. They're all over this area here. Palm Springs, Palm Desert, La Quinta, Rancho Mirage. We are flooded, inundated with for sale and for lease signs and vacant buildings everywhere. If this can happen in West Hollywood, if it can happen in Beverly Hills, if it can happen in Los Angeles, if it can happen right here in Palm Springs, Palm Desert, it can happen where you live. You know, somebody wrote me last week and they were offended that I called their town Mayberry, that I have an issue with small towns. I love small towns. If you live in a small town, God bless you. It's probably a much better place to be right now, without a doubt. But if you're in a small town, the economy's doing well, great. You should be thanking God tonight. You have a job, that you live in a small town, that things are doing well. Please don't be offended by me using the term Mayberry. I love small towns. I love Mayberry, and I don't mean to offend anybody by that term. What I'm saying is, things may be good in your small town. They may be good in your Mayberry. But when they're not good in big cities like New York, in LA, when they're not good in resort towns like Palm Springs and Palm Desert, this is a real bellwether, a real barometer to what's happening to the economy nationally. If you live in a town with 2,000 people, is that really reflecting the U.S. economy? No. Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, bigger cities that employ large amounts of people who have huge retail shopping areas. This is more of a reflection of what's happening in the U.S. economy. So if you live in a much smaller economy, if you're in a small town and you're doing well, God bless you, really. You have a lot to be thankful for. But what's happening in these larger cities, what's happening in Beverly Hills, what's happening in Los Angeles, what's happening right here in Palm Desert, it can happen to Mayberry. It can happen in a small town, so be prepared for that. Rodeo Drive is just 3 blocks long. It has nearly a dozen vacant storefronts. Michael Kors, Lacoste.
You see, Isaiah 13 and 15, everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword, man.
Toomey and Piaget, to name a few, have all closed. Melrose Place is seeing the same plague of closures. Vacancies up, business down. It's hitting everyone. It's hitting many, many counties out here. Orange County, Riverside County, San Bernardino County. I've been through them all, and I'm seeing the devastation. And yet,
And if you think that you're going to be joined to these devils and you're going to skate off in the sunset, no, man. The Lord going to get you, man. Say, everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword, man. Okay? You so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, West Indian Haitians going to be destroyed because you trust in the enemy. Isaiah 30 and 12, you trust in oppression. Lord wills edifying, got to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashim Awashah, Bashim Rakakadas, Brakatham. Till next time, I say Shalom, Wa Abababal.